ॐ सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमापीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यामलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीम् सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत्परामम्बिकाम्। ॐ श्रीमाता श्रीमहाराज्ञी श्रीमत्सिंहासनेश्वरी चिदग्निकुण्डसम्भूता देवकार्यसमुद्यता उद्यद्भानुसहस्राभा चतुर्बाहुसमन्विता रागस्वरूपपाषाढ्या क्रोधाकाराङ्कुशोज्ज्वला मनोरूपेक्षुकोदण्डा पञ्चतन्मात्रसायका निजारुणप्रभा पूरमज्जद्ब्रह्माण्डमण्डला चम्पकाशोकपुन्नागसौगन्धिकलसत्कच कुरुविन्दमणिश्रेणी कनत्कोटीरमण्डिता अष्टमी चन्द्रविभ्राजदलिकस्थलशोभिता मुखचन्द्रकलङ्काभमृगनाभिविशेषका वदनस्मरमाङ्गल्यगृहतोरणचिल्लिका वक्त्रलक्ष्मीपरीवाहचलन्मीनाभलोचना नवचम्पकपुष्पाभनासा दण्डविराजिता ताराकान्तितिरस्कारिनासाभरणभासुरा कदम्बमञ्जरी क्लुप्तकर्णपूरमनोहरा ताटङ्कयुगलीभूततपनोडुपमण्डला पद्मरागशिलादर्शपरिभाविकपोलभूः नवविद्रुमबिम्बश्रीन्यक्कारिरदनच्छदा शुद्धविद्याङ्कुराकारद्विजपङ्क्तिद्वयोज्ज्वला कर्पूरवीटिकामोदसमाकर्षद्दिगन्तरा निजसल्लापमाधुर्यविनिर्भर्त्सितकच्छपी मन्दस्मितप्रभा पूरमज्जत्कामेशमानसा अनाकलितसादृश्यचुबुकश्रीविराजिता कामेशबद्धमाङ्गल्यसूत्रशोभितकन्धरा कनकाङ्गदकेयूरकमनीयभुजान्विता रत्नग्रैवेयचिन्ताकलोलमुक्ता फलान्विता कामेश्वरप्रेमरत्नमणिप्रतिपणस्तनी नाभ्यालवालरोमालिलता फलकुचद्वयी लक्ष्यरोमलता धारतासमुन्नेयमध्यमा स्तनभारदलन्मध्यपट्टबन्धवलित्रया अरुणारुणकौसुम्भवस्त्रभास्वत्कटीतटी रत्नकिङ्किणिकारम्यरशना दामभूषिता कामेशज्ञातसौभाग्यमार्दवोरुद्वयान्विता माणिक्यमकुटाकारजानुद्वयविराजिता इन्द्रगोपपरिक्षिप्तस्मरतूणाभजङ्घिका गूढगुल्फा कूर्मपृष्ठजयिष्णुप्रपदान्विता नखदीधितिसञ्छन्ननमज्जनतमो गुणा पदद्वयप्रभा जालपराकृतसरोरुहा शिञ्जानमणिमञ्जीरमण्डितश्रीपदाम्बुजा मराली मन्दगमना महालावण्यशेवधिः सर्वारुणानवद्याङ्गी सर्वाभरणभूषिता शिवकामेश्वराङ्कस्था शिवा स्वाधीनवल्लभा सुमेरुमध्यशृङ्गस्था श्रीमन्नगरनायिका चिन्तामणिगृहान्तस्था पञ्चब्रह्मासनस्थिता महापद्माटवी संस्था कदम्बवनवासिनी सुधासागरमध्यस्था कामाक्षी कामदायिनी देवर्षिगणसङ्घातस्तूयमानात्मवैभव भण्डासुरवधोद्युक्तशक्तिसेना समन्विता सम्पत्करी समारूढसिन्धुरौरजसेविता अश्वारूढाधिष्ठिताश्वकोटिकोटिभिरावृता चक्रराजरथारूढ सर्वायुधपरिष्कृता गेयचक्ररथारूढमन्त्रिणी परिसेविता किरिचक्ररथारूढदण्डनाथा पुरस्कृता ज्वालामालिनिका क्षिप्तवह्निप्राकारमध्यगा भण्डसैन्यवधोद्युक्तशक्तिविक्रमहर्षिता नित्या पराक्रमाटोपनिरीक्षणसमुत्सुका भण्डपुत्रवधोद्युक्तबाला विक्रमनन्दिता मन्त्रिण्यम्बा विरचितविषङ्गवधतोषिता विशुक्रप्राणहरणवाराही वीर्यनन्दिता कामेश्वरमुखालोककल्पितश्रीगणेश्वरा महागणेशनिर्भिन्नविघ्नयन्त्रप्रहर्षिता भण्डासुरेन्द्रनिर्मुक्तशस्त्रप्रत्यस्त्रवर्षिणी कराङ्गुलिनखोत्पन्ननारायणदशाकृतिः महापाशुपतास्त्राग्निनिर्दग्धा सुरसैनिका कामेश्वरास्त्रनिर्दग्धसभण्डासुरशून्यका ब्रह्मोपेन्द्रमहेन्द्रादिदेवसंस्तुतवैभवा हरनेत्राग्निसन्दग्धकामसञ्जीवनौषधिः श्रीमद्वाग्भवकूटैकस्वरूपमुखपङ्कज कण्ठाधः कटिपर्यन्तमध्यकूटस्वरूपिणी शक्तिकूटैकतापन्नकट्यधो भागधारिणी मूलमन्त्रात्मिका मूलकूटत्रयकलेवरा कुलामृतैकरसिका कुलसङ्केतपालिनी कुलाङ्गना कुलान्तस्था कौलिनी कुलयोगिनी अकुला समयान्तस्था समयाचारतत्परा मूलाधारैकनिलया ब्रह्मग्रन्थिविभेदिनी मणिपूरान्तरुदिता विष्णुग्रन्थिविभेदिनी आज्ञाचक्रान्तरालस्था रुद्रग्रन्थिविभेदिनी सहस्राराम्बुजारूढा सुधासाराभिवर्षिणी तटिल्लता समरुचिः षट्चक्रोपरि संस्थिता महाशक्तिः कुण्डलिनी बिसतन्तुतनीयसी भवानी भावनागम्या भवारण्यकुठारिका भद्रप्रिया भद्रमूर्तिर्भक्तसौभाग्यदायिनी भक्तिप्रिया भक्तिगम्या भक्तिवश्या भयापहा शाम्भवी शारदाराध्या शर्वाणी शर्मदायिनी शाङ्करी श्रीकरी साध्वी शरच्चन्द्रनिभानना शातोदरी शान्तिमती निराधारा निरञ्जना निर्लेपा निर्मला नित्या निराकारा निराकुला निर्गुणा निष्कला शान्ता निष्कामा निरुपप्लवा नित्यमुक्ता निर्विकारा निष्प्रपञ्चा निराश्रया नित्यशुद्धा नित्यबुद्धा निरवद्या निरन्तरा निष्कारणा निष्कलङ्का निरुपाधिर्निरीश्वरा नीरागारागमथनी निर्मदा मदनाशिनी निश्चिन्ता निरहङ्कारा निर्मोहा मोहनाशिनी निर्ममा ममता हन्त्री निष्पापा पापनाशिनी निष्क्रोधा क्रोधशमनी निर्लोभा लोभनाशिनी निःसंशया संशयघ्नी निर्भवा भवनाशिनी निर्विकल्पा निराबाधा निर्भेदा भेदनाशिनी निर्नाशा मृत्युमथनी निष्क्रिया निष्परिग्रहा निस्तुला नीलचिकुरा निरपाया निरत्यया दुर्लभा दुर्गमा दुर्गा दुःखहन्त्री सुखप्रदा दुष्टदूरा दुराचारशमनी दोषवर्जिता सर्वज्ञा सान्द्रकरुणा समानाधिकवर्जिता सर्वशक्तिमयी सर्वमङ्गला सद्गतिप्रदा सर्वेश्वरी सर्वमयी सर्वमन्त्रस्वरूपिणी सर्वयन्त्रात्मिका सर्वतन्त्ररूपा मनोन्मनी माहेश्वरी महादेवी महालक्ष्मीर्मृडप्रिया महारूपा महापूज्या महापातकनाशिनी महामाया महासत्त्वा महाशक्तिर्महारतिः महाभोगा महैश्वर्या महावीर्या महाबला महाबुद्धिर्महासिद्धिर्महायोगेश्वरेश्वरी महातन्त्रा महामन्त्रा महायन्त्रा महासना महायागक्रमाराध्या महाभैरवपूजिता महेश्वर महाकल्प महाताण्डवसाक्षिणी महाकामेश महिषी महात्रिपुरसुन्दरी चतुष्षष्ट्युपचाराढ्या चतुष्षष्टिकलामयी महाचतुष्षष्टिकोटियोगिनी गणसेविता मनुविद्या चन्द्रविद्या चन्द्रमण्डलमध्यगा चारुरूपा चारुहासा चारुचन्द्रकलाधरा चराचरजगन्नाथा चक्रराजनिकेतना पार्वती पद्मनयना पद्मरागसमप्रभा पञ्चप्रेतासनासीना पञ्चब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी चिन्मयी परमानन्दा विज्ञानघनरूपिणी ध्यानध्यातृध्येयरूपा धर्माधर्मविवर्जिता विश्वरूपा जागरिणी स्वपन्ती तैजसात्मिका सुप्ता प्राज्ञात्मिका तुर्या सर्वावस्था विवर्जिता सृष्टिकर्त्री ब्रह्मरूपा गोप्त्री गोविन्दरूपिणी संहारिणी रुद्ररूपा तिरोधानकरीश्वरी सदाशिवानुग्रहदा पञ्चकृत्यपरायणा भानुमण्डलमध्यस्था भैरवी भगमालिनी पद्मासना भगवती पद्मनाभसहोदरी उन्मेषनिमिषोत्पन्नविपन्नभुवनावलिः सहस्रशीर्षवदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात् आब्रह्मकीटजननी वर्णाश्रमविधायिनी निजाज्ञारूपनिगमा पुण्या पुण्यफलप्रदा श्रुतिसीमन्तसिन्दूरीकृतपादाब्जधूलिका सकलागमसन्दोहशुक्तिसम्पुटमौक्तिका पुरुषार्थप्रदा पूर्णा भोगिनी भुवनेश्वरी अम्बिकानादिनिधना हरिब्रह्मेन्द्रसेविता नारायणी नादरूपा नामरूपविवर्जिता ह्रीङ्कारी ह्रीमती हृद्या हेयोपादेयवर्जिता राजराजार्चिता राज्ञी रम्या राजीवलोचना रञ्जनी रमणीरस्या रणत्किङ्किणिमेखला रमा राकेन्दुवदना रतिरूपा रतिप्रिया रक्षाकरी राक्षसघ्नी रामा रमणलम्पटा काम्या कामकलारूपा कदम्बकुसुमप्रिया कल्याणी जगती कन्दा करुणारससागरा कलावती कलालापा कान्ता कादम्बरी प्रिया वरदा वामनयना वारुणी मदविह्वला विश्वाधिका वेदवेद्या विन्ध्याचलनिवासिनी विधात्री वेदजननी विष्णुमाया विलासिनी क्षेत्रस्वरूपा क्षेत्रेशी क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञपालिनी क्षयवृद्धिविनिर्मुक्ता क्षेत्रपालसमर्चिता विजया विमला वन्द्या वन्दारुजनवत्सला वाग्वादिनी वामकेशी वह्निमण्डलवासिनी भक्तिमत्कल्पलतिका पशुपाशविमोचनी संहृता शेषपाषण्डा सदाचारप्रवर्तिका तापत्रयाग्निसन्तप्तसमाह्लादनचन्द्रिका तरुणी तापसाराध्या तनुमध्या तमोपहा चितिस्तत्पदलक्ष्यार्था चिदेकरसरूपिणी स्वात्मानन्दलवीभूतब्रह्माद्यानन्दसन्ततिः परा प्रत्यक्षितिरूपा पश्यन्ती परदेवता मध्यमा वैखरीरूपा भक्तमानसहंसिका कामेश्वरप्राणनाडी कृतज्ञा कामपूजिता शृङ्गाररससम्पूर्णा जया जालन्धरस्थिता ओड्याणपीठनिलया बिन्दुमण्डलवासिनी रहोयागक्रमाराध्या रहस्तर्पणतर्पिता सद्यः प्रसादिनी विश्वसाक्षिणी साक्षिवर्जिता षडङ्गदेवतायुक्ता षाड्गुण्यपरिपूरिता नित्यक्लिन्ना निरुपमा निर्वाणसुखदायिनी नित्या षोडशिकारूपा श्रीकण्ठार्धशरीरिणी प्रभावती प्रभारूपा प्रसिद्धा परमेश्वरी मूलप्रकृतिरव्यक्ता व्यक्ता व्यक्तस्वरूपिणी व्यापिनी विविधाकारा विद्या विद्यास्वरूपिणी महाकामेश नयन कुमुदाह्लादकौमुदी भक्तहार्दतमो भेद भानुमद्भानुसन्ततिः शिवदूती शिवाराध्या शिवमूर्तिः शिवङ्करी शिवप्रिया शिवपरा शिष्टेष्टा शिष्टपूजिता अप्रमेया स्वप्रकाशा मनोवाचामगोचरा चिच्छक्तिश्चेतना रूपा जडशक्तिर्जडात्मिका गायत्री व्याहृतिः सन्ध्या द्विजवृन्दनिषेविता तत्त्वासना तत्त्वमयी पञ्चकोशान्तरस्थिता निःसीममहिमा नित्ययौवना मदशालिनी मदघूर्णितरक्ताक्षी मदपाटलगण्डभूः चन्दनद्रवदिग्धाङ्गी चाम्पेयकुसुमप्रिया कुशला कोमलाकारा कुरुकुल्लाकुलेश्वरी कुलकुण्डालया कौलमार्गतत्परसेविता कुमारगणनाथाम्बा तुष्टिः पुष्टिर्मतिर्धृतिः शान्तिः स्वस्तिमती कान्तिर्नन्दिनी विघ्ननाशिनी तेजोवती त्रिनयना लोलाक्षी कामरूपिणी मालिनी हंसिनी माता मलयाचलवासिनी सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रूः शोभना सुरनायिका कालकण्ठी कान्तिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी वज्रेश्वरी वामदेवी वयोवस्था विवर्जिता सिद्धेश्वरी सिद्धविद्या सिद्धमाता यशस्विनी विशुद्धिचक्रनिलया रक्तवर्णा त्रिलोचना खट्वाङ्गादिप्रहरणा वदनैकसमन्विता पायसान्न प्रिया त्वक्स्था पशुलोकभयङ्करी अमृतादिमहाशक्ति संवृता डाकिनीश्वरी अनाहताब्जनिलया श्यामा भावदनद्वया दंष्ट्रोज्ज्वलाक्षमालादिधरा रुधिरसंस्थिता कालरात्र्यादिशक्त्यौघवृता स्निग्धोदनप्रिया महावीरेन्द्रवरदा राकिण्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी मणिपूराब्जनिलया वदनत्रयसंयुता वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता रक्तवर्णा मां सनिष्ठा गुडान्नप्रीतमानसा समस्तभक्तसुखदा लाकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी स्वाधिष्ठानाम्बुजगता चतुर्वक्त्रमनोहरा शूलाद्यायुधसम्पन्ना पीतवर्णातिगर्विता मेधोनिष्ठा मधुप्रीता बन्दिन्यादिसमन्विता दध्यन्नासक्तहृदया काकिनी रूपधारिणी मूलाधाराम्बुजारूढा पञ्चवक्त्रास्थिसंस्थिता अङ्कुशादिप्रहरणा वरदादिनिषेविता मुद्गौदनासक्तचित्ता साकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी आज्ञाचक्राब्जनिलया शुक्लवर्णा षडानना मज्जासंस्था हंसवती मुख्यशक्तिसमन्विता हरिद्रान्नैकरसिका हाकिनी रूपधारिणी सहस्रदलपद्मस्था सर्ववर्णोपशोभिता सर्वायुधधरा शुक्लसंस्थिता सर्वतोमुखी सर्वौदनप्रीतचित्ता याकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी स्वाहा स्वधा मतिर्मेधा श्रुतिस्मृतिरनुत्तमा पुण्यकीर्तिः पुण्यलभ्या पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना पुलोमजार्चिता बन्धमोचनी बन्धुरालका विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या वियदादिजगत्प्रसूः सर्वव्याधिप्रशमनी सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणी अग्रगण्या चिन्त्यरूपा कलिकल्मषनाशिनी कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री कमलाक्षनिषेविता ताम्बूलपूरितमुखे दाडिमी कुसुमप्रभा मृगाक्षी मोहिनी मुख्या मृडानी मित्ररूपिणी नित्यतृप्ता भक्तनिधिर्नियन्त्री निखिलेश्वरी मैत्र्यादिवासना लभ्या महाप्रलयसाक्षिणी पराशक्तिः परानिष्ठा प्रज्ञानघनरूपिणी माध्वीपानालसामत्ता मातृकावर्णरूपिणी महाकैलासनिलया मृणालमृदुदोर्लता महनीया दयामूर्तिर्महासाम्राज्यशालिनी आत्मविद्या महाविद्या श्रीविद्या कामसेविता श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या त्रिकूटा कामकोटिका कटाक्षकिङ्करी भूतकमला कोटिसेविता शिरस्थिता चन्द्रनिभा भालस्थेन्द्रधनुः प्रभा हृदयस्थारविप्रख्या त्रिकोणान्तरदीपिका दाक्षायणी दैत्यहन्त्री दक्षयज्ञविनाशिनी दरान्दोलितदीर्घाक्षी दरहासोज्ज्वलन्मुखी गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर्गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था दहराकाशरूपिणी प्रतिपन्मुख्यराकान्ततिथिमण्डलपूजिता कलात्मिका कलानाथा काव्यालापविनोदिनी सचामररमावाणी सव्यदक्षिणसेविता आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा परमा पावनाकृतिः अनेककोटिब्रह्माण्डजननी दिव्यविग्रह क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या कैवल्यपददायिनी त्रिपुरा त्रिजगद्वन्द्या त्रिमूर्तिस्त्रिदशेश्वरी त्र्यक्षरी दिव्यगन्धाढ्या सिन्दूरतिलकाञ्चिता उमाशैलेन्द्रतनया गौरी गन्धर्वसेविता विश्वगर्भा स्वर्णगर्भा वरदा वागधीश्वरी ध्यानगम्या परिच्छेद्या ज्ञानदा ज्ञानविग्रह सर्ववेदान्तसंवेद्या सत्यानन्दस्वरूपिणी लोपामुद्रार्चिता लीला क्लृप्तब्रह्माण्डमण्डला अदृश्यादृश्यरहिता विज्ञात्री वेद्यवर्जिता योगिनी योगदा योग्या योगानन्दा युगन्धरा इच्छाशक्तिज्ञानशक्तिक्रियाशक्तिस्वरूपिणी सर्वाधारा सुप्रतिष्ठा सदसद्रूपधारिणी अष्टमूर्तिरजा जैत्री लोकयात्रा विधायिनी एकाकिनी भूमरूपा निर्द्वैता द्वैतवर्जिता अन्नदा वसुधा वृद्धा ब्रह्मात्मैक्यस्वरूपिणी बृहती ब्राह्मणी ब्राह्मी ब्रह्मानन्दा बलिप्रिया भाषारूपा बृहत्सेना भावा भावविवर्जिता सुखाराध्या शुभकरी शोभना सुलभा गतिः राजराजेश्वरी राज्यदायिनी राज्यवल्लभा राजत्कृपा राजपीठनिवेशितनिजाश्रिता राज्यलक्ष्मीः कोशनाथा चतुरङ्गबलेश्वरी साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्यसन्धा सागरमेखला दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानन्दरूपिणी देशकालापरिच्छिन्ना सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्ता सदा शिवपतिव्रता सम्प्रदायेश्वरी साध्वी गुरुमण्डलरूपिणी कुलोत्तीर्णा भगाराध्या माया मधुमतीमही गणाम्बा गुह्यकाराध्या कोमलाङ्गी गुरुप्रिया स्वतन्त्रा सर्वतन्त्रेशी दक्षिणामूर्तिरूपिणी सनकादिसमाराध्या शिवज्ञानप्रदायिनी चित्कलानन्दकलिका प्रेमरूपा प्रियङ्करी नामपारायणप्रीता नन्दिविद्यानटेश्वरी मिथ्या जगदधिष्ठाना मुक्तिदा मुक्तिरूपिणी लास्यप्रिया लयकरी लज्जारम्भादिवन्दिता भवदा वसुधा वृष्टिः पापारण्यदवानला दौर्भाग्यतूलवातूला जराध्वान्तरविप्रभा भाग्याब्धिचन्द्रिका भक्तचित्तकेकि घना घना रोगपर्वतदम्भोलिर्मृत्युदारुकुठारिका महेश्वरी महाकाली महाग्रासा महाशना अपर्णा चण्डिका चण्डमुण्डासुरनिषूदिनी क्षराक्षरात्मिका सर्वलोकेशी विश्वधारिणी त्रिवर्गदात्री सुभगा त्र्यम्बका त्रिगुणात्मिका स्वर्गापवर्गदा शुद्धा जपा पुष्पनिभा कृतिः ओजोवती द्युतिधरा यज्ञरूपा प्रियव्रता दुराराध्या दुराधर्षा पाटली कुसुमप्रिया महती मेरुनिलया मन्दारकुसुमप्रिया वीराराध्या विराड्रूपा विरजा विश्वतोमुखी प्रत्यग्रूपा पराकाशा प्राणदा प्राणरूपिणी मार्ताण्डभैरवाराध्या मन्त्रिणी न्यस्तराज्यधूः त्रिपुरेशी जयत्सेना निस्त्रैगुण्या परापरा सत्यज्ञानानन्दरूपा सामरस्य परायणा कपर्दिनी कलामाला कामधुक् कामरूपिणी कलानिधिः काव्यकला रसज्ञा रसशेवधिः पुष्टा पुरातना पूज्या पुष्करा पुष्करेक्षणा क्षम्यताम् कलानिधिः काव्यकला रसज्ञा रसशेवधिः पुष्टा पुरातना पूज्या पुष्करा पुष्करेक्षणा परं ज्योतिः परं धाम परमाणुः परात्परा पाशहस्ता पाशहन्त्री परमन्त्रविभेदिनी मूर्ता मूर्ता नित्यतृप्ता मुनिमानसहंसिका सत्यव्रता सत्यरूपा सर्वान्तर्यामिनी सती ब्रह्माणि ब्रह्मजननी बहुरूपा बुधार्चिता प्रसवित्री प्रचण्डाज्ञा प्रतिष्ठा प्रकटाकृतिः प्राणेश्वरी प्राणदात्री पञ्चाशत्पीठरूपिणी विशृङ्खला विविक्तस्था वीरमाता वियत्प्रसूः मुकुन्दा मुक्तिनिलया मूलविग्रहरूपिणी भावज्ञा भवरोगघ्नी भवचक्रप्रवर्तिनी छन्दःसारा शास्त्रसारा मन्त्रसारा कलोदरी उदारकीर्तिरुद्दाम वैभवा वर्णरूपिणी जन्म मृत्युजरा तप्त जन विश्रान्तिदायिनी सर्वोपनिषदुद्भुष्टा शान्त्यतीतकलात्मिका गम्भीरा गगनान्तस्था गर्विता गानलोलुपा कल्पनारहिता काष्ठा कान्ता कान्तार्धविग्रह कार्यकारणनिर्मुक्ता कामकेलितरङ्गिता कनत्कनकताटङ्का लीला विग्रहधारिणी अजाक्षयविनिर्मुक्ता मुग्धा क्षिप्रप्रसादिनी अन्तर्मुखसमाराध्या बहिर्मुखसुदुर्लभा त्रयी त्रिवर्गनिलया त्रिस्था त्रिपुरमालिनी निरामया निरालम्बा स्वात्मा रामा सुधासृतिः संसारपङ्कनिर्मग्नसमुद्धरणपण्डिता यज्ञप्रिया यज्ञकर्त्री यजमानस्वरूपिणी धर्माधारा धनाध्यक्षा धनधान्यविवर्धिनी विप्रप्रिया विप्ररूपा विश्वभ्रमणकारिणी विश्वग्रासा विद्रुमाभा वैष्णवी विष्णुरूपिणी अयोनिर्योनिनिलया कूटस्था कुलरूपिणी वीरगोष्ठी प्रिया वीरा नैष्कर्म्या नादरूपिणी विज्ञानकलना कल्या विदग्धा बैन्दवासना तत्त्वाधिका तत्त्वमयी तत्त्वमर्थस्वरूपिणी सामगानप्रिया सौम्या सदा शिवकुटुम्बिनी सव्यापसव्यमार्गस्था सर्वापद्विनिवारिणी स्वस्था स्वभावमधुरा धीरा धीरसमर्चिता चैतन्यार्घ्यसमाराध्या चैतन्यकुसुमप्रिया सदोदिता सदा तुष्टा तरुणादित्यपाटला दक्षिणा दक्षिणाराध्या दरस्मेरमुखाम्बुजा कौलिनी केवलानर्घ्यकैवल्यपददायिनी स्तोत्रप्रिया स्तुतिमती श्रुतिसंस्तुतवैभवा मनस्विनी मानवती महेशी मङ्गलाकृतिः विश्वमाता जगद्धात्री विशालाक्षी विरागिणी प्रगल्भा परमोदारा परामोदा मनोमयी व्योमकेशी विमानस्था वज्रिणी वामकेश्वरी पञ्चयज्ञप्रिया पञ्चप्रेतमञ्चाधिशायिनी पञ्चमी पञ्चभूतेशी पञ्चसङ्ख्योपचारिणी शाश्वती शाश्वतैश्वर्या शर्मदा शम्भुमोहिनी धराधरसुता धन्या धर्मिणी धर्मवर्धिनी लोकातीता गुणातीता सर्वातीता शमात्मिका बन्धूककुसुमप्रख्या बाला लीला विनोदिनी सुमङ्गली सुखकरी सुवेषाढ्या सुवासिनी सुवासिन्यर्चनप्रीता शोभना शुद्धमानसा बिन्दुतर्पणसन्तुष्टा पूर्वजा त्रिपुराम्बिका दशमुद्रा समाराध्या त्रिपुरा श्रीवशङ्करी ज्ञानमुद्रा ज्ञानगम्या ज्ञानज्ञेयस्वरूपिणी योनिमुद्रा त्रिखण्डेशि त्रिगुणाम्बा त्रिकोणगा अनघाद्भुतचारित्र्या वाञ्छितार्थप्रदायिनी अभ्यासातिशयज्ञाता षडध्वातीतरूपिणी अव्याजकरुणामूर्तिरज्ञानध्वान्तदीपिका आबालगोपविदिता सर्वानुल्लङ्घ्य शासना श्रीचक्रराजनिलया श्रीमत्त्रिपुरसुन्दरी श्रीशिवा शिवशक्त्यैक्यरूपिणी ललिताम्बिका श्रीचक्रराजनिलया श्रीमत्त्रिपुरसुन्दरी श्रीशिवा शिवशक्त्यैक्यरूपिणी ललिताम्बिका श्रीचक्रराजनिलया श्रीमत्त्रिपुरसुन्दरी श्रीशिवा शिवशक्त्यैक्यरूपिणी ललिताम्बिका एवं श्रीललिता देव्या नाम्नां साहस्रकञ्जगुः सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते। So that took us some time, about 40 minutes. Is this the right pace? Who asked yesterday? Who was it?
Super. I was able to follow most of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. I was able to follow.
Okay. But the greater part of the work now lies on all of you also, okay? And don't please wash your responsibility off your shoulders. Please make sure that you hear this audio and keep practicing at home too.
Yeah. Okay.
Can anyone tell me where we had stopped with the meanings?
80.
88, okay.
Verse 80.
Tamopaha, correct. So we had stopped where we have seen how Lalita is the dispeller of darkness. Tamaha apaha, one who dispels away darkness from our hearts. So Tamopaha. Continuing, Chitihi Tatpada Lakshyartha. She is Chitihi. She is alive. She is pulsing with energy. Chitihi. She is conscious. She is aware. Chitihi Tatpada Lakshyartha. She is always denoted by the word Tat. For example, in the word Tat Tvamasi. And, Ayamatma Brahmadev. Ayam also is a form of Tat. And then Tattvam, the word Tattvam itself means thatness, T-H-A-T, thatness. And she is always referred to as Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. In the Chandi Patha also, there we say Namastasyai, Avalige, to her prostrations, to her prostrations, to her prostrations. Now, who is that her? That her is a pronoun which is called the Tat Shabda, Dakaranta Strilinga Padam in Sanskrit. So Tat Pada Lakshyartha. She is the one who is denoted by the very often by the word Tat. In fact, even when you say Soham, Saha Aham means I am he or he I am, and then I am that. And in all such Vedantic proclamations, the word Tat, even in the word Om Tat Sat. So at many places this word Tat comes because the rishis are at a loss of words. They cannot really denote that supreme higher reality that is within all of us uh, with any other word. So they kind of employ a pronoun by just saying that. For example, in mathematics too, you just put a variable called x or y, whatever z, so that you don't know what to exactly call it, but you still just put a variable that which has a meaning that people will understand based on their context and their current level of maturity. And So the value, let's say x is equal to 4, the value 4 is not called x. There is another substance called x which is pointing to the value of 4. Similarly, this word tat is just a pointer and upadeshaka. It is showing, it is pointing where or what is being referred to here. Chitis tat pada lakshyartha chit eka rasa rupini. She alone revels in the sole company of her own awareness. Chid eka rasa rupini. In fact, many philosophers, right from the rishis of the Upanishads, the rishikas of the Aranyakas, till Buddhism, and then later on till Carl Jung, Freud, J. Krishnamurti, and all of such philosophers, the common thread amongst all of these is to observe. If you were to summarize all their philosophy, it is just to observe, to be aware, to remain aware. So that is awareness, chideka, to remain solely in choiceless awareness, chideka. And there is a certain joy that even this text is saying, which comes by remaining in awareness. Because, like I think I had given this example of a person participating in a play who he thinks is the king. So for the good part of his of the drama, he enjoys the luxuries of a king. He enjoys the ministers and others sucking up to him, and maybe the damsels dancing before him, the Gandharvas, etc. They're playing for him, etc. So that is called pleasure. A delusional ananda is called pleasure. Whereas after he realizes, after going through the pains, and after the director points to him that you're actually in a drama and you are not the king, you are that, this person who you were before you became a king. So when he reminds him and he actually for himself realizes that that is the case, then the emotion that he feels is called ananda, or which is called as rasa, chideka rasa, because now he is in awareness of his character, which does not prevent him in most cases from not involving himself with the role once again. But now it has made him detached from both the pleasures and the pains. In fact, both of which are mithya, which are both delusional, because it was created under a false pretext. Chideka rasa rupini swatmananda lavibhuta brahmadi ananda santatihi. And what is the grade of her ananda? In fact, this is actually only used for comparison for our sakes, for laymen like me, where we need to just gauge what ananda is being talked about here. So the magnitude of this ananda is said to be leveling, or in fact lowering and diminishing the anandas of the Brahma Adi Santati, of the Brahma and the other gods themselves. Swatma Ananda Lavibhuta, by the sheer magnitude and ginormity of her own Ananda, Lavibhuta, all the so-called big Anandas of Brahma, Indra, Vishnu, and all of the other gods, their Anandas have become Lavibhuta. They have become so insignificant, almost infinitesimally small. So big is the Atma Ananda, the Ananda of the own self, Swatmananda. To corroborate this, there is an entire small section in the Taittiriya Upanishad called the Ananda Mimamsa. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, I think in the second chapter called the Brahmananda Valli, towards the fag end of this portion comes this very nice hierarchy of Anandas. Excuse me. It starts off with assuming a hypothetical person, young, energetic, in all good health, with all the wealth in the world, and everybody to do his bidding, who is the emperor of the entire world, and he is also filled with a lot of nice desires. Of course, not impossible desires, not to ask, I want the sun in my hand, sun, not son, uh, the sun in my hand, or anything which is impossible. Apart from such impossible, unscientific desires, all the usual desires that one can have, the human mind can have. Uh, if he has those and he's able to fulfill all of them, then such is the Ananda, which is called a unit of Ananda. The first one equals to one unit of Ananda. And then begins the hierarchy. So first they say if 100 such Anandas of this man are put together, man or woman, are put together, it becomes the Ananda of the Gandharvas. And then 100 such Gandharvas, Ananda become the Ananda of a Karma Deva. 100 such Karma Devas become one Deva, and then 100 such devas become Ajana Deva, and then Pitru, and then I may have gotten the order wrong. Just uh, take this with a pinch of salt. Then after Pitru, then comes the actual devas like Agni, Vayu, Varuna, and all. And after them is the Ananda of Indra. More than that, 100 such Anandas equals to one Brihaspati or the Guru of the Devas, his Ananda. And 100 such become the Prajapati's Ananda, or which is Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma. And then 100 such Anandas become the Ananda of the vast, of the greatest um, possible being, which is called Brahman, or in this case, we have equated that with Lalita. So such is the magnitude of Ananda, which is hers. And then finally, it's when it says, "Te ye shatam prajapateranandah स एक ब्रह्मण आनन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य स एकः." He is one. Saya evam with, and he who knows this. Now here he refers to that ultimate being. Like we remember tat pada, so he, she, etc. are being used to refer to that highest thing. Sa ekah saya evam with asmalokat pretya. And so this soul which can really even begin to grasp the magnitude of such an ananda will forever leave this entire body, leave the five sheaths, the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya, and slowly it will ascend and ascend higher and higher through these levels of hierarchy, reaching that final thing. So that is how the Brihadaranyaka, a very esoteric text, again describes. Para pratyakchiti rupa pashyanti paradevata. And she is para, the ultimate. Pratyak chiti rupa, the chiti, which is consciousness, which is directed inward. Pratyak. Parak means outside. Pratyak means inside. The awareness of the inner self. Pratyak chiti. So it's not, so we also have awareness right now when I am speaking, I am talking and making all these sentences and meanings and talking and interpreting these texts. There is a certain level of awareness too. It's an external awareness. However, such awareness, which I'm yet to come to, but which is told that during meditation, there is an awareness of looking at ourselves, be it in silence or at work, in the third person, that I somehow dissociate myself from this person, this working, talking person called the Vaktara, and then I am separate from that. To reach a certain that level itself is very advanced in my view. I don't think I have, but it is said that once you reach that level, you have now successfully disentangled the, or at least have the ability to, as and when, put on or put off the attachment with the world. So that is the level of pratyahara. That is the fifth level in the actual Ashtanga Yoga. It is not really as simple as we make it out to sound. It's that itself is only the fifth level still. To be able to put on or put off, to be able to disconnect and connect back like a switch, like plugging in a laptop or plugging it out when I don't need it. Uh, the sense organs, I mean, the sense organs and the mind. To be able to do that itself is enormous willpower, and that comes through pratyakchiti, by internal awareness. And then pashyanti paradevata. Pashyanti is The vak, there are four kinds of vak. Vak means expressions. So first is the para. Uh, para Paravak means that. Okay, let's start from bottom up. The most audible form, which is what I'm just talking and which is what you're hearing, and all the noise and sound, the material sound is called Vaikhari. It's called Vaikhari. That which is outwardly expressed, which is unmissable, Vaikhari. And then before I actually utter it from the tonsils and whatever larynx, I will have the voice before it emerges, the brain would have sent some signals, right? And those signals are examples of madhyama. That is where the thought has emerged that I must speak this word. Let's say an apple. Is there a notification? Okay. It says 8 minutes only left. So if in case I get logged out, please do rejoin using the second link which I have posted in the group for another 5-10 minutes. And then madhyama is those signals which emerge in the physiological at the physiological level from the brain. In fact, even today, very interesting studies in neuroscience are being conducted as to when exactly does this impulse from the brain emerge. Is it after the thought has come, as after we have consciously thought of it? Or in some experiments have actually shown that it comes even before the thought has emerged or conscious will thought has emerged. So it's a very interesting field of study. If any person is interested, you can look it up. The coordination between the muscles and the neurosignals. So that is called the madhyama, the medium for traveling this message, this signal. Previous to that, prior to that, is the pashyanti. Pashyanti is when the mind is still contemplating whether to say this or not. So that split second of gap where we consent to ourselves to say this particular word, that is called pashyanti. It means considering. It literally means that which is still being considered, in the process of being considered. So that is called pashyanti. It's being watched. It just keeps seeing itself whether to say this or not, which is in awareness. That is called pashyanti. And beyond these three is that intuition, or you would call it a spontaneous outburst of signal from behind the thought, and that is called para. You see, such a great mystery has been resolved, or at least dabbled with, by our Indian philosophers. Para is the unknown supremo source from which the expression, the nudge, first comes. And then that after the thought has come in the mind, it is being considered, it's being deliberated upon. That is called pashyanti. And then once it has been consented, it will flow as neurosignals in the nerve system, which is called madhyama. And finally, it is expressed with the vocal cord or whatever other ways of expressing, that is the Vaikhari. She is all these four. Bhakta Manasa Hamsika, and the swan sitting in the minds of bhaktas. She is that royal swan fluttering peacefully away in the minds of the mm, bhaktas. I think it's now the right time to log out. Let's see what time it is. It's 5 minutes. Okay. Maybe we can stop here. We will rejoin using the other link. If anybody is facing a problem, please do let me know in the group. See you on the other side. Astu. So we were saying about the four different kinds of speech, or actually expression, that would be the right word, of vak, of expression. which are the Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. She is at every stage, each of these. And Bhakta Manasa Hamsika, the swan fluttering away in our hearts. Kameshwara Prananadi Kritajna Kama Pujita Shringara Rasa Sampurna Jaya Jalandhara Sthita. She is Kameshwara Prananadi. She is the lifeline, the life energy of Kameshwara, of Shiva. And that is also true because, quite literally, Kameshwara is lifeless when, if she is not, if she, the Shakti, is not around. When Shakti leaves Shiva, he becomes a Shava, he becomes lifeless. So she is the lifeline. She is the breathing tube and all that dialysis and all the life support which is present for a coma patient. She is what keeps Shiva sporting and approachable to us. Kameshwara Prananadi, Kritajna Kama Pujita. She is Kritajna. She will remember that which has been done. Kritajna. Uh, and there are two meanings. Quite literally, she understands what she has done. And secondly, she is grateful. Kritajna means she is grateful. She is grateful to every single living creature. In fact, they say in higher, to reach greater and greater levels of meditation, one very simple technique is gratefulness, which is of course very hard to come by, but that is what they say, and that it just struck my mind with this word kritajna, because in most cases the idea of a meditation is to calm the mind, correct? And the mind is unsteady and scattered only because of desires. So gratefulness is a very subtle, cunning way to convince our mind to not have as many desires, not by repressing, not by suppressing, but and not by fighting it also. It's by just saying, it's by allowing it to remember the beautiful things of life, the things that it already has, to even start stroking the idea of contentment. And with that, slowly, slowly, as it goes deeper and deeper into contentment, as it realizes first of all the joy of contentment, then it will go on autopilot. It will start settling down, settling down, settling down, and at one point, perhaps she willing, it will completely settle down. So that is the idea, the power of gratefulness, Kritajna. There is a very nice story, a very beautiful story. So many such stories are there, in fact, all throughout the mystic lores and spiritual folk tales. So there is this saint in Himalayas who was meditating, I mean, who went through a great amount of suffering in his life. And then he finally gave up and he said, no more dealing with this mundane, pardon my language, but shitty world. So I want to just go and find out for myself what all this is all about. I want a break from my active involvement with affairs of the world to sit back and analyze it. So he does that. He goes to a cave, he sits and meditates and so on. After a couple of years, he feels he has realized something. He feels there is a spark of wisdom in his eyes, there is a glow in his face, and he comes around on one of his usual morning strolls and has a good bath in a nice stream nearby. He smells good flowers. He takes a bath with the sand and mud around. That is the most organic way of taking the bath, without any soap, without any chemicals. Very Ayurvedic too. It keeps his skin very moist and supple, which enhances his glow further. And he keeps walking and he finds another yogi. Not a yogi, but some person who he doesn't know. So he finds this person who is sitting there with one leg, and uh, he has so many diseases in the body. His liver is not functioning. He keeps coughing, and then he comes and sits with this person. He perhaps thinks this must be a destitute man who was left in the jungle for the wolves. So he comes and he starts talking. He strikes a conversation, and gradually, he keeps asking about where you are from, what you have been doing, and so on. So then he says, "See, I have a very peculiar disease." He says the name of some disease, the most painful disease of the world. Maybe something which starts with triglyceride or something, which is a nerve disease which impacts the. It comes on the chin. It's just a small perturbation of the nerve. Just imagine the horror of it. A small nerve in the spinal cord, which is if it is dislocated, uh, that s- misaligned ill placement itself is enough to create hell in to this person. And so even the blow of air will cause immense suffering to him, and he sits there quite happily, at least so it feels. And this man is astonished. How are you even, smiling through, and you have such a deadly disease, which is almost makes you suicidal. And so many people actually in the world have committed suicide because they're not able to bear this pain. They have taken euthanasia, and there are so many actively campaigning activists who are for euthanasia for such very rare, chronic, incurable diseases. And then he comes and asks, "Don't you blame God for all of this?" And then he says, "God, blame God. I mean, I would definitely blame God. But please do tell me, what is it that I must blame him for?" And this came as a great, bomb, dropping a bomb on this man's head, because he gave up the entire world, cursed God. He said, "No, I'm going to become a sannyasi. I'm going to find out the truth of the world. I don't want to believe in any of these rituals and all of this." And now, and see, he did resent God for all his troubles of the world. But then here is sitting a man who is outwardly at least smiling and in the severest of pains, and yet is saying, "What is it that I must blame him for?" And so this is where gratitude helps a person cope, um, and maintain sanity and steadiness of mind. Kritajna. Kama Pujita, she is worshipped by her son, which is Manmatha or Kama. Shringara Rasa Sampurna, of course, she being red in color, red is the color of Shringara, without doubt. It's also the color of blood, which is why Durga also is red. But here, as Lalita, she is the color of love. We present red roses. Why only red? Why only wear pink? Why not blue? Why not purple? Or why not black even? Yeah. It's so abundant in the world. Hair is black, so many clothes can be dyed black. So many things in the night are dark. So why not black? Is it not? So it is because somehow, I don't know for what reason, but there is a relationship between a color and the emotion. We say greenery makes us feel good. What is even the connection between green outside and the emotions inside? Of course, all of these questions are not yet answered by science. I'm not saying they are answerable by religion or something, but there is definitely much more to be uncovered, and therefore a lot more reasons to be humble, both towards religion as well as towards science. So Shringara is the romance, it is love, it is mm, longing, it is aching of the heart. Shringara. Rasa Sampurna, she is filled till the brim, in fact, even above and overflowing with it, with the color red, thus indicating her complete involvement in love, in romance, in utter dedication and obsession with Shiva. Shringara Rasa Sampurna. Jaya, she is victory itself. Jalan Dharasthita, uh, let me get back to you about the exact meaning of Jalandhara. So, Jalandhara is a dam. Usually, that is what the common meaning of Jalandhara is. So, she could be residing in a dam. I'm not sure of the exact meaning. Let me get back to you tomorrow. Please, one of you remind me about this. And then Odyana Pitha Nilaya Bindu Mandala Vasini. Odyana is like a courtyard. It's like a portico, a balcony. So she is sitting in a pitha which is facing the Odyana. It is facing the courtyard. Of course, she is facing the courtyard of her own house, which is the Chintamani, with the Kadamba Vana outside. A very scenic, spectacular view of greenery outside. Odyana Pitha Nilaya. Bindu Mandala Vasin. And where exactly is she sitting? She is sitting exactly at the small dot, the center of the Sri Chakra Yantra. One of you can send I think it was Usha ma'am who has sent something about the Sri Chakra. So please do share it with the group as well. Uh, Let all of us benefit from at least the diagram of the Sri Chakra, how it is drawn. And at the center, at the very center, there is the bindu, the dot, the center, the point, which represents Sampurnata, which represents wholeness, WHOLE. Bindu Mandala Vasini, she resides at that spot. Raho Yaga Kramaradhya, she is worshipped, Aradhya, by Raho Yaga Krama, by the steps and protocol of a Raho Yaga. Raho Yaga is a yaga, it's an exchange or a dealing, to put it in business terms, a dealing which is done in secret, in privacy. Raho Yaga Kramaradhya. So she is also worshipped by many people in private. In fact, much of the Kaula Tantras are done in private because many of them are, I won't say antisocial, but they definitely are not well accepted and scorned by society. But still, she is also Aradhya. She is accepting, and not just accepting, she loves being worshipped by some private rituals. Raho Yaga Kramaradhya. Rahas Tarpana Tarpita. And she is Tarpita. She is pleased. She is content by the Tarpanas, which are what's the right word, English word for it? Oblations. Oblations which are offered by the in Rahas, in again, once again, in a very small, limited, exclusive company. Rahas Tarpana Tarpita. In such cases, usually the tarpana is either some alcoholic drink, or it's the blood, or something to indicate one of the five makaras. Sadyaf Prasadini, she is immediately pleased. This resonates with another word for Shiva, which is called Ashutosha, who is who can be pleased in a moment. Sadyaf Prasadini, she can be pleased in the very moment, in this moment itself. And how is that? So, Sharda Mata, the spouse of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, said, so one devotee came to her, and she started saying that, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is an avatara, and therefore he was able to see God. And Vivekananda, of course, is also an avatara. He has done a lot of sadhana. And so I am just a layman. I may take millions of years more before I can see God. So must I lose all hope? Because it will definitely not happen in this Janma. Who knows, maybe in some 101st Janma it may happen. So why should I really take this very seriously? Is there any hope at all? And then Sharda Mata says, correct, all of this sadhana that you're doing, this japa, bhakti, jnana and all will definitely will take you many more janmas to come for you to see its fruition. But I'll tell you one thing which will make you see God in at this very moment. She says, you become nirvasana. You become completely, utterly empty in yourself without any vasanas. And at this moment, I promise to you, you will see God. Of course, the method to becoming nirvasana itself may take eons to come, but yeah, there is still a shortcut to seeing God without going through the rigor and process of any of the spiritual paths, which is to empty oneself completely. And that is a very scary thing. In fact, we analyze death to be very scary and frightening only because we are in some parts, in some ways, being emptied of our uh, current status, of our current possessions, current people, our ideas of stability, and so on. So to empty oneself, it's not a simple thing. Of course, it's very easy for me to say. Emptying would be to remove, it would be as painful and as gut wrenching as actually gutting oneself out. That is exactly, that's quite literally, emptying oneself. And so hard it is to do it even externally. And just imagine how hard it would be to do it internally, to with the mind, with the very agile, very quick to escape mind, to hold it in place by ourselves through force and yet be gentle with it, and then to hold the scalpel ourselves, to dissect the mind by ourselves, enduring the pain and keeping a steady hand still. Just imagine even if we were to scratch ourselves willfully and not by accident, our hands would be shaking, right? Uh, we will start panicking, sweating. There would not be a steady hand. Of course, I can cut another person. Of course, all these doctors who are trained for 3, 4 years, they're trained to basically get their hands steady to cut another person up. But to cut oneself up, it's a very hard thing. In fact, harder still is to cut one's own mind away. So that is what the process which Sharda Mata did recommend of emptying oneself. It's not a violent thing, by the way. It's not suicide. It is willfully and lovingly trying to explore oneself inside out. Sadyaf Prasadini Vishwa Sakshini, she, and thus one who has emptied oneself out will be able to witness without any lens the world as it actually is, to witness the world as it really is. And Sakshi Varjita, and because this is the supreme subject, the I, there will be no other witness to it. Sakshi Varjita, there is no other greater witness to onlook this. Shadanga Devata Yukta Shadgunya Paripurita. She is worshipped by the Shadanga Devata. Shadanga Devata here refers to Shadangas are the Vedas. So the Devatas of the Vedas, who are they? Indra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna, Soma, Yama, Nirriti, Mitra, all of these worship Uma. They worship Lalita. Shadgunya Paripurita. She is brimming with the 6 gunas, Shat guna. And what these 6 gunas are, we shall see in tomorrow's class. As to at 84, we have stopped. Please remind me. I think we are going too slow. I don't know if the space is all right, if it's really feasible for us to complete all the meanings by the end of this month. We're still at 85. I'm quite concerned actually. It's 85 and 100 more shlokas to go. Let's see. As to any questions, any insights that you guys want to provide, please feel free. Are you guys enjoying these classes, or is it too boring? Is it too ASMR like that you are all going to sleep? I actually think the recitation, I've heard my own audio on the YouTube. It's so sleepy. So I hope all of you have not slept by this time. Oh my God, the actual silence is is proof enough of. Okay. Thank you for waking all of us up. Thank you for waking all of us up. Okay, so see you all tomorrow. Dhanyawad.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್.
धन्यवाद
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
धन्यवाद